Okay, so hear me out. Everyone loves imagining heroes going villain, but nobody is asking the question that should genuinely keep every HTTYD fan up at night. What if Toothless turned evil? And I am not talking mind-controlled. I am not talking bewilderbeast manipulation. I mean Toothless, fully aware, fully conscious, making a deliberate choice that humans are the enemy. Because here is what makes this so much scarier than it sounds. Toothless already has literally everything he would need. The raw power, the speed that Vikings cannot even track, the intelligence that outsmarts every human in the franchise, and the alpha status that means every single dragon on Earth does whatever he says. If Toothless woke up tomorrow and decided humans needed to go, there is not one thing in the entire Viking world that stops him. Not one. And the most terrifying part is he would have every reason to make that call. So buckle up, because by the end of this video you are going to realize the scariest villain in HTTYD history was never Drago, was never Grimmel. It was the dragon we trusted most, and the only thing standing between the Viking world and complete annihilation was one choice Toothless made every single morning he woke up next to Hiccup. So let us talk about what evil Toothless actually looks like, because the movies already showed us a preview and then pulled back before we could fully process it. Remember the second film, Bewilderbeast takes control, Toothless turns on Hiccup, and what we see in that moment is genuinely chilling. His eyes go completely cold, every movement becomes surgical and mechanical and zero hesitation. He fires at Hiccup with the exact same accuracy and power he uses against actual threats. There is literally no version of that scene where Hiccup walks away if Toothless does not snap out of it at the last second. And what that scene is actually telling you is that every single interaction Toothless has ever had with a human, he is actively choosing not to do that. The goofiness is a choice. The beach drawings are a choice. Every single ear scratch demand is Toothless, consciously deciding not to be the most terrifying predator in the known world. Evil Toothless is not some dramatic transformation. It is just Toothless getting tired of making that choice. Now here is where it gets really dark. What would actually push him there? And honestly, when you look at the full picture of what this dragon has been through, the answer is not hard to find at all. His entire species got hunted to extinction before the first movie even starts. Every Night Fury that ever existed was systematically tracked down and killed by Grimmel and people like him. Toothless survived purely because he was fast enough and smart enough and alone enough to escape. He watched everything he came from get erased, and then he flew into a forest by himself and got shot down by a Viking kid. If Toothless ever truly sat with what humans did to his species, if he ever let himself feel the full weight of what was taken from him, the logical end of that grief is not sadness, it is rage. The kind of rage that does not negotiate, does not forgive, does not stop for anything. This dragon has more legitimate reason to hate humans than any villain the franchise ever gave us. He just chose not to go there, but what if something finally pushed him past that point? Picture this scenario. The hidden world exists. Toothless leads every dragon there. They are finally safe and finally building something real for the first time in generations. And then humans find it. Not Grimmel, not Drago. Just regular humans doing what humans always do. Exploring, expanding, moving into spaces that were never theirs, because that is just what civilization does. And there is no Hiccup this time. No dragon rider standing in the gap making peace possible. Just humans showing up in the last place dragons had left. And Toothless watching it happen in real time, because here is what that moment means to him specifically. It means everything he gave up was for absolutely nothing. Leaving Hiccup, leaving Burke, leaving the family he somehow built among people who used to be his species' greatest enemies. All of that sacrifice was supposed to buy dragons a future, and if humans take that future anyway, then the sacrifice meant nothing at all. And a Toothless who believes his sacrifice meant nothing is a Toothless with zero left to lose. And a Toothless with zero left to lose is genuinely the most dangerous thing that has ever existed in that world. Here is what people get wrong about what evil Toothless would actually do. They picture him raging and burning and going full monster mode. That is not Toothless. That is not how his intelligence works. Toothless is precise. Toothless is patient. Toothless thinks 3 moves ahead in the middle of a fight while everyone else is still reacting to move 1. Evil Toothless does not announce himself. He does not give speeches. He does not show up breathing plasma and making it obvious. He starts quiet. Every dragon under alpha control goes silent overnight, stops responding to riders, stops coming when called. The dragon riders of Berk wake up one morning and every single dragon is just gone. No warning, no explanation. And by the time humans figure out what is actually happening, it is already too late to do anything about it. Because Toothless has already spent weeks systematically removing every advantage that dragon partnership gave humanity, and he did it without making a single sound. Then once dragons and humans are fully separated and the human world has lost every military advantage that those relationships provided, Toothless turns his attention to the hunters specifically. Not regular people, not farmers and fishermen going about their lives. The hunters, the cage builders, the people who used the dragon eye, the ones who built entire careers and fortunes on dragon suffering across generations. Because evil Toothless is not mindless destruction, he is terrifyingly specific. He goes after the people who deserve it with the exact same precision and efficiency that Grimmel once used to hunt night furies to extinction. A perfect mirror pointed directly at the worst of humanity, doing to the hunters exactly what the hunters did to his kind for centuries. And here is the part that really messes with you. You would understand it completely. You could not even call it wrong. Because it is not wrong. It is just devastating in a way that nothing in the actual films ever comes close to. Now the real question, could Hiccup stop him? Not fight him, not defeat him, actually stop him? Because those are two completely different things, and only one of them is even remotely possible. Hiccup defeating Toothless in any real sense is just not happening. Toothless is faster and stronger and smarter in a fight than anything Hiccup could bring against him. But could Hiccup reach him? Could he stand in front of the dragon who once chose trust over every survival instinct in a cove with a knife between them and make him choose trust one more time? Honestly, maybe, but only maybe. Because the Toothless who made that choice in the cove had not yet watched the last safe place for his species get taken away, had not yet run out of alternatives, had not yet landed on the conclusion that the only way to permanently protect dragons was to make the human world afraid enough to back off completely. Reaching that Toothless would require Hiccup to offer something real. Not memories, not history, not feelings. Something structurally real that actually changes the situation on the ground. And whether Hiccup could find that thing fast enough is honestly the most compelling story this franchise never told. But here is what the evil Toothless question is really about underneath all of it. It is about what happens when patience finally runs out. Toothless chose gentleness every single day for years, chose trust when literally every piece of his personal history said do not trust, chose to believe coexistence was possible even when the evidence was genuinely not great. Evil Toothless is the answer to what happens when a creature that patient finally stops believing, when the evidence tips past the point of reasonable hope, when continuing to choose gentleness costs more than it gives back. And that is not a villain story. That is a tragedy. The most loyal character in the franchise running out of reasons to stay loyal. And the only ending that is not completely devastating is Hiccup finding one more reason to give him before it is too late. So here is what the what if Toothless turned evil question actually tells us about the real story. How to Train Your Dragon is not about two species learning to get along. It is about one dragon deciding every single day that humans were worth the risk. Toothless is not a powerful sidekick. He is literally the only thing holding two worlds back from a war that dragons win completely and permanently. The happy ending exists because he kept making that choice long enough for everything around him to change. So the next time you watch him doing his goofy beach dance or demanding ear scratches or making that ridiculous toothless grin at Hiccup, remember what you are actually looking at. You are looking at the most powerful creature in the Viking world choosing to be soft one more time, and that choice right there is the most genuinely heroic thing in the entire franchise. Now drop in the comments what you think would actually push Toothless over the edge, because that debate is exactly what this channel was built for.